Hey guys, Superhorrorbro Mike here, and in today's video we return to the world of haunted children's TV shows as we explore the story, secrets, and endings of Amanda the Adventurer 2. And before we start this video, it should be understood that I expect you to have a basic knowledge of the first game and its story and characters before diving into this one. While I will be recapping certain elements of the original Amanda the Adventurer, for the most part I will assume people watching this video understand the events of a prior game. So if you've not yet caught up, then check out my video explaining the story of the original game. You'll find a link below this video. In terms of this particular video itself, I'll be breaking it down into 3 segments. First, a brief summary of the story so far. Secondly, a look at each of the tapes as we run through the game's story, and finally a look at the secret tapes and both the bad and true endings. By the end of the video, you should have a good understanding of Amanda the Adventurer 2, as well as my interpretation of some of the game's more ambiguous story elements. So with all of that said, sit back, relax, and let's begin our exploration of those haunted tapes. This is the story of Amanda the Adventurer 2, explained.
Time's running out!
Before we explore the story of this new entry, let's rewind to the original Amanda the Adventurer and quickly recap the events of that game. Riley receives a letter from her Aunt Kate, who has recently passed away. From reading it, we get a sense that Aunt Kate knew her time was running out and that she would soon be dead. But before that happened, she had a great deal to accomplish. So she left Riley her house in Kensdale, and with it, a mysterious VHS tape in the attic. The tape was for a popular kids TV show called Amanda the Adventurer. The show was created by a Kensdale local named Sam Colton, who adopted a daughter named Rebecca. Rebecca became the inspiration behind the character of Amanda, as well as playing her on the show. After finding success on local television, Sam was approached by an entertainment company called Hamlin, who purchased the rights to the show and turned it into an animated educational series. Sam and his daughter Rebecca were still allowed to continue working on the show, with Sam having creative control and Rebecca voicing Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Wooly.
Today we're going to make an apple pie.
My favorite is peach pie.
Then, one fateful day, Sam Colton vanished, leaving his daughter Rebecca orphaned and alone. Hamlin Entertainment then became her legal guardian and continued to make Amanda the Adventurer in Sam's absence. Riley arrives at her late aunt's house and plays the ominous videotape. She soon discovers that this is no ordinary episode of Amanda the Adventurer. Amanda and her sheepish sidekick Wooly begin to interact with Riley, and by extension the player directly, as if these tapes are somehow a window into another reality, one we are warned by Wooly to stay away from.
Oh, it's you. Whatever you do, don't...
Oh no! Wooly had an accident!
Riley soon discovers they can interact with items stored within the attic, such as this toy oven and robot, and by doing so, manipulate events happening within the tapes themselves. This then unlocking new episodes of Amanda's show to view and solve. While watching these tapes, we begin to see creepy imagery, and notice Amanda is becoming more and more frustrated and angry. She even begins fighting with her co-star and friend Wooly, eventually trying to kill him. If we make Amanda too angry, then she turns into a demonic entity, which has the power to break free from the VHS tapes and enter our own reality. Eventually, Amanda gets rid of Wooly and ends up alone. She mourns the loss of her freedom, trapped inside the tapes forever.
Is it really okay to share my secret with you? I'm out there. Somewhere.
While playing through the game, we are able to discover a selection of secret tapes, which reveal the true nature of the sinister Hamlin Corporation. It seems they were using Rebecca Colton to communicate with demons. They then used the Amanda Show to brainwash children around the country as they tuned in to watch, luring them inside the videotape realm and trapping them inside. This tracks, as of course their slogan was "Follow us to fun." One such victim seems to have been Rebecca Colton, who we theorized became trapped as Amanda inside the show, the character she once voiced, now used as a tool to kidnap other children as potential sacrifices for the demonic entities living inside the tapes. In order to stop Amanda, and by extension her demon, from escaping the final tape, Riley ends up breaking the television screen with a brick, at which point a mysterious figure in a trench coat, mask and hat bursts into the room. And this is where the story of Amanda the Adventurer 2 begins.
Kate and I were really close. She talked about you so much. She was really proud of you. I guess you've seen some of what she was working on. Come on, we should get out of here. I know a place you can rest a while, and let's talk.
Riley accompanies their newfound detective friend to the Kensdale Public Library, the location where their Aunt Kate used to work. Kate not only worked as a librarian, but was also good friends with Amanda the Adventurer creator Sam Colton. There is plenty of evidence for this friendship and Kate's admiration for her friend's creations throughout the library. Posters of Amanda and Wooly are everywhere, and there's even this cute little Wooly statue holding an episode of the show on display in this cabinet. After Sam's disappearance, Kate began looking into the Hamlin Company and didn't like what she began to find. There had been reports of missing kids around town who vanished after watching episodes of the show. So Kate and this mysterious masked figure who now joins us banded together to try and expose Hamlin and uncover the truth behind Sam and Rebecca Colton, as well as those demonic haunted tapes.
Hey, hope you got a little sleep. You know, I was thinking, we should head over to the library. You can tell me what happened on the way.
The library itself is eerily quiet. It's nighttime, so the masked detective picks the lock to gain entry. Once inside, she explains to Riley that she will wait outside to make sure the coast is clear and no one has followed them. Riley is tasked with locating the Amanda tapes, and their newfound accomplice hands them a two-way radio so they can keep in contact at all times. We then begin with our first puzzle. In order to gain access to the first Amanda tape locked inside this cabinet, we must decipher the correct code for the padlock. The code is found by scanning various books in the library computer, and then using the database to check dates they were returned. This allows us to assemble a series of numbers found inside each respective book into the correct order, revealing the key code combination. The first tape is called a Let's Plan a Trip, and Riley carries it over to the kids' corner where a television and VCR player await. Riley plays the tape and is greeted by a familiar face.
Hi friends, I'm Amanda. Have you ever wanted to go far, far away? Well, we can.
In the first tape, we are reintroduced to Amanda, who explains that she wishes to take a trip around the world on her magic train. In this tape, the player is tasked with listening to hints given to them by Amanda and then picking the correct holiday destination. Each of these global hotspots has an associated cost, and so Amanda must empty her piggy bank in the hopes she has enough gold coins to pay the train fare. As she picks up the piggy bank, we notice that one materializes in Riley's reality too, appearing on the floor behind them. A mathematics-based puzzle then ensues, as the player is required to place the piggy bank beside the television set to bank coins as Amanda counts them on the tape. However, we can also deduct coins from the piggy by leaving it next to the television while Amanda spends or loses coins. In order to complete this tape, we must end up with 10 coins in the piggy bank, any more or less, and we have to start over. There are a few things of interest to note while viewing the Let's Plan a Trip tape. Firstly, as with many of the tapes found throughout Amanda the Adventurer 2, at certain points Amanda will ask the player a question directly. We are free to type out any word that fits when she asks one of these questions. But check out how these 4 particular keywords garner very different responses.
If you could visit anyone in the world, who would you go see? I wish I could still visit her. Wait, that's... I love to daydream about all the places I could have... Yeah, if you could find him. Do you really think you could do that?
As you can see, these answers give us insight into the game's unspoken story. For example, it is obvious Amanda, who we assume to be Rebecca Colton, remembers Aunt Kate fondly as someone she once visited. This does make sense, as we know her father Sam was good friends with Kate in real life. Likewise, she cruelly jokes about Wooly's absence, who she violently separated from during the finale of the previous game. When we reference Sam, Amanda seems troubled and begins to remember who Sam was. Again, going by the theory that Amanda is Rebecca Colton, then Sam would have been her father in real life, so her sorrow makes perfect sense. And on the subject of Rebecca, typing in her name causes Amanda to twitch and pose the question, do you really think you could do that? These responses are important when considering the greater story of Amanda the Adventurer. However, there are many variants of these found throughout the game, and going through all of them in one video would be too much. But do keep in mind that any theories I come to are at least in part based on these secret responses from Amanda. The second point of interest in this video is a strange possum-like creature who attacks Amanda halfway through the episode. Amanda begs for our help and we can either provide it or refuse her plea and let the savage beast steal her coins.
No! He ate one of my coins!
The possum is very symbolic and has, I believe, a deeper meaning beyond simply being a menace to poor Amanda. It shows up throughout each of these tapes, always waiting in the wings to torment her. Finally, there is a moment where we must select one of 3 animal toys to sell in order to drum up spare change for the magic train. The correct pick is the rooster. Upon selecting the rooster, it makes a distressing crowing sound and floats into the sky. For those who remember the story of the first game, the rooster was a creature that seemed to be tied to Rebecca's father Sam Colton, who mysteriously vanished after working with Hamlin. With that in mind, this scene suggests that Sam is no more and has passed on to the afterlife, potentially murdered by Hamlin so they could gain full custody and control over his daughter Rebecca Colton. The second tape is titled Good Night. In this episode, Amanda is very tired and prepares to go to bed. Before doing so, we must first help her put away her toys on this bookshelf. This ties into a 2-part puzzle linked to this picture box that appears on a nearby tabletop. As Amanda returns the toys to their positions on this shelf, you may notice that some appear circular and others cross-shaped. This corresponds with one side of the picture box, where there are a set of 9 tiles that can be flipped to show either a naught or cross symbol. The bookcase has 9 boxes, just like the picture box, so simply match the correct symbols to the toys on the shelf and hey presto, we solved the first part of the puzzle. Next, Amanda ambles over to the bathroom to brush her teeth and wash her face before turning in for the night. As she opens the medicine cabinet, you will notice 5 lotion bottles, each adorned with a symbol. Returning to the picture box, we can see that each of these symbols, a sun, moon, water droplet, and 2 flowers, match up to the movable toggles on the box. If we match these toggles up to their respective symbols on the tape, then a third VHS tape springs from the box. But before watching it, we must first wrap up tape 2. While getting ready for bed, Amanda is attacked by that pesky possum once more. Again, we can either choose to help or hinder her. Once the possum has scurried away, Amanda heads to bed. While sitting on the bed, Amanda's usually happy demeanor changes to one of pessimism and fear.
It gets awfully lonely in here at night. It makes me think about about things I really don't want to think about. I'm not even sure what's real. But I guess we all get a little scared at night, right?
When asked what we're afraid of, we can get a very interesting response from Amanda by inputting the name of a shady company, Hamlin.
We shouldn't talk about them. Thinking about something you're afraid of can give you nightmares.
It seems Amanda, and by extension Rebecca, are all too familiar with Hamlin and distressed by the very mention of their name here. After heading to bed, the lights go out and Amanda panics as she is afraid of the dark. We must quickly rush around to the library in pitch darkness until we locate a nightlight, which can then be handed to Amanda through the television screen, quelling her fears. Or, alternatively, we can ignore her cries for help and receive this ending instead. Tape 3 is called Let's Practice Patience. In this tape, another familiar face returns. It's none other than Amanda's old sidekick, Wooly. Although she doesn't seem happy about their reunion, despite the sheep's best efforts to impress.
No, I don't want you here. Don't you get that?
But Amanda, I'm your best friend.
My best friend? All you do is get up. Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Wooly.
It becomes obvious fairly quickly that Amanda is irritated by Wooly's presence and does not want him around, actively berating and torturing him at every turn, preying upon his nervous disposition.
We'll use the nail gun to attach the pieces. Pew, pew, pew.
Let's Practice Patience sees Wooly and Amanda attempt to build a birdhouse in their backyard, only for a cat and her kittens to show up and attack the poor birds. An act of violence we can prevent, but one that Amanda gleefully revels in if we do not. She seems to enjoy watching the suffering of poor defenseless creatures, which I suspect is tied to the demonic entity who now has its claws in her, as well as the grim fate of Amanda's real-life persona, Rebecca Colton. The objective within this tape is to pause the episode during key moments where something on the tape causes Amanda and Wooly to ape the expressions of 3 monkey statues that have now spawned around the kids' corner. The first can be matched up if we turn on this lamp when Wooly complains about it getting dark outside. The second expression is found after the pair are attacked by the possum and covered in paint. The third and final expression can be created by pausing the video while Wooly comments on how peaceful and quiet things are, and then turning up a nearby radio full blast. Once all of the expressions have been matched to the monkeys, the tape ends and the creepy primates stack up in a totem-like pose to hand Riley the 4th tape, this one called a Let's Hunt for Treasure. Tape 4 takes Amanda and Wooly through a swampy wood in search of buried treasure. The wood takes on a creepy appearance as ghoulish trees glitch in and out in the distance. We are given 3 paths to follow in order to locate the hidden spoils. The first path leads to a swamp which smells terrible and causes Wooly to run away. The second path leads to a clearing, where Amanda suspects the treasure may be buried. However, upon digging up all the dirt, all they find is a pile of clothes beneath the soil. This perhaps hinting at the tragic fates of the 2 children, who Hamlin imprisoned and now find themselves trapped within the haunted tapes as Amanda and Wooly respectively. Or perhaps, judging by Amanda's reaction, these clothes belonged to Rebecca's father, Sam Colton, bringing back terrible memories of his disappearance. If we head north, then we finally locate the buried treasure, but just as the pair begin to dig, the possum causes a stir once again. If we don't stop this rotten rodent this time, then it will snatch Amanda's shovel and snap it on a tree. Luckily, she has a bottle of superglue to repair it, as well as a suspicious looking pair of blood-stained gloves. After digging below the forest floor, Amanda discovers the treasure, an old stuffed animal toy which she discards and refers to as useless. Wooly accidentally falls down the hole and remains trapped there. Then, Amanda addresses Riley and the player directly. Frustrated by the lack of treasure, she threatens us if we do not find her something worthwhile.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm not done treasure hunting. I really thought we'd find something special, and you didn't help me at all. So you'd better find something good for me. Do you have a treasure out there that will make me happy? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Time's running out.
Amanda's demonic entity emerges from the screen and watches over Riley as they desperately try to quell its anger by finding some treasure of worth. None of the stuffed animals in the vicinity work. However, we can get a slightly different outcome if we hand the Amanda demon the rooster toy that symbolizes Sam Carlton. No matter what, at this point we will always be consumed by the entity, at which point the game seems to reset from the very beginning. But something is different this time round. After cracking the code for the locker cabinet once more, and retrieving the Let's Plan a Trip tape again, we soon discover a twist. While the tape is mostly the same, it does have a slightly different ending. This time, Wooly joins Amanda for the train ride and reminds her she cannot escape the VHS realm, causing her to become aggressive towards him.
Ooh, it's fun to pretend you can go places, isn't it? Ooh. Hey, Amanda, this isn't funny. Amanda! Amanda! Hey, Amanda!
After this episode is over, we turn around to see a big train set on the floor behind Riley. The train set features the 3 destinations Amanda references in the tape: Paris, Mexico City, and London. We must collect up all of the missing pieces of track and then slot them into the correct placement. Doing so allows the train to stop at each individual station in the correct order as seen in the videotape, and by doing so we unlock Tape 6. Tape 6 is called Let's Start the Day. In this tape, Amanda wakes from her bed, and after we help fluff up her pillows and tuck in the sheets, it's time to get dressed. Before doing so, Amanda asks Riley what they're going to do with their day. As she listens, Amanda's attitude grows more and more disheartened. It seems as though the little girl is losing all hope. She has been trapped inside the tapes for so long that trying to stay positive is a test of endurance at this point. Next up, Amanda searches for her backpack, which is found in this closet. The closet door briefly opens, and if we pause the tape at this exact moment, we can see a row of different costumes hung up inside. We also notice that the picture box has reappeared, and lo and behold, one of the sides has a set of costumes. Simply rotate the costume pieces to match those inside the closet, and the puzzle is complete. However, just as before, this is a 2-part puzzle, and so we must continue to watch on. Next, Amanda decides to make breakfast. While in the kitchen, she is attacked by the possum again, and as usual, we can either help or ignore her. Then, after helping Amanda prepare her breakfast, we must pause the tape and copy the layout by using the symbols on the puzzle box. After finishing the 6th tape, Riley is contacted by the mysterious masked woman over the walkie-talkie, who informs her that a fire has broken out at her Aunt Kate's and everything inside the home has been destroyed.
It's Kate's house. I'm glad we got out of there before whoever started that fire showed up, but I'm not sure there's going to be anything left there.
This is surely the work of Hamlin Entertainment, but more on exactly why I've come to this conclusion later. Riley loads up the 7th tape titled When You're Feeling Bad. This tape showcases Amanda at her most vulnerable and miserable yet. Amanda asks us what we do when we feel sad. If we type in the word cry, then we receive this sorrowful response.
I wish I could. I feel like there's nothing left in me.
Rebecca Colton is trapped inside of Amanda, She has been for a very long time. In fact, later on in one of her secret tapes, we discover it has been 15 years since Rebecca was adopted by Hamlin Entertainment and disappeared, presumably inside of these tapes. Therefore, this moment of reflection continues to reveal how very little of Rebecca's humanity is now left inside the body of Amanda. She is close to losing all hope and succumbing to the demonic entity that seems to be tied to her. Wooly tries to cheer up Amanda with a storybook and asks the player what kind of stories they enjoy. If we then type in horror, Wooly begins to freak out and we briefly witness snippets of a butcher hacking meat, while Wooly screams out in the background.
Those kind of stories are too scary for me. Wow. I wish I hadn't asked.
Those who played the original Amanda the Adventurer, or perhaps watched my story explained video for that game, will remember the butcher who played a minor role in the story and seemed to be a character who Wooly was extremely wary of. Keep a mental note of this character as they'll come into play soon enough. Next up, Wooly enlists the help of Riley to use 4 pop-up books in the library to relay a story he wishes to tell Amanda. A story about a knight, a princess, a dragon, and a wizard. As Wooly references each of these characters, we must match them up by interacting with the relevant picture books. However, Amanda is not impressed by this fantastical fable. She grows ever more tired, and eventually the entity tied to her is summoned and attacks Riley.
Wait! They're trying! Please!
Amanda stops the demon and urges it to let Riley continue on with the story. She seems aware that we are trying to help her in some way, and so ultimately, while Amanda may seem hostile, she still holds on to some form of hope. The remnants of Rebecca Colton still alive within the videotape realm, still fighting to one day escape Hamlin's clutches and the hold of this demon. If the player follows Wooly's instructions and reenacts this version of the story, then Amanda eventually loses control and her demon attacks Riley, causing a game over to occur. However, if we take a more careful look at the TV screen, we can notice that behind Amanda on the living room wall are a series of drawings. These sketches have been created by Amanda herself and tell a darker, more solemn version of the knight's tale than the one Wooly has crafted. In Amanda's version of the story, it is the princess who transforms into a dragon, and is then slain by the brave knight who is fooled by her monstrous appearance. He then goes on to live a life alone, full of regret. This is a very symbolic story, which draws parallels to the story of Amanda and her human form, Rebecca Colton. Rebecca was a little girl who was transformed by Hamlin into a cartoon avatar trapped within a videotape realm and tied to a demon form, the demon representing the dragon. So Hamlin would represent the wizard, Rebecca's demon the dragon, and of course the princess symbolises Rebecca herself, now trapped in this alternate dimension as Amanda. As for the knight, well, we can interpret this to be potentially Rebecca's father Sam or maybe Aunt Kate, who desperately searched for a way to free Rebecca but ultimately failed. This will make a little more sense later on as we compile further evidence, but this is my theory on what Rebecca's twisted fairy tale actually means. As we reenact Amanda's story, a strange narration takes place in the tape, and Wooly grows more and more frustrated that we are changing his version of events.
No, that's not how the story goes at all. There was a big battle. The brave knight prevailed. And then the princess emerged from the shadows of the cave. "You saved me," she cried. She embraced the knight, and they traveled back to the princess's kingdom, where they lived happily ever after.
After Amanda's story is complete, her demon races over to kill Riley, but Amanda stops it.
No! They helped me feel better.
It seems as though Amanda constantly relates to tragedy and feeds off it. But by Riley listening to her trauma and dark thoughts, it acts as some kind of therapy for Amanda, and therefore by extension Rebecca, an outlet for her emotions that have been repressed for so long in this analog horror prison. After finishing tape 7, Riley notices a new book has appeared on the nearby table. Inside this hollowed out book is a hammer, one we can take over to the glass cabinet in the reception area and use to smash the glass. Inside is a woolly plushie and the next videotape titled Let's Hunt for Treasure. We have of course already seen this tape. Last time we watched it, the demon emerged from behind the television screen and waited for us to present Amanda with a treasure after she was dissatisfied with the one we dug up in the episode of the show. The tape remains the same, however this time we can offer up the demon a different and more satisfying reward when it emerges, that elusive woolly toy. After licking and sniffing at the woolly plush, the entity tears it limb from limb, before racing out of the room as another demonic creature can be heard close by. Following the entity's trail of destruction leads Riley to a brand new room, one previously inaccessible to them. The demon bursts through the door and now access is granted by default. This room belonged to Aunt Kate herself. As the head of the library, this was her office. Within the office are several points of interest: a locked desk, locked box, microfilm machine, and a frog in a terrarium. These are the final puzzle pieces required to unlock both endings for Amanda the Adventurer 2. The first tape is found in plain sight. It sits smashed and broken on this tabletop. Despite its destroyed state, the tape is somehow still playable, although massively glitchy. This is without doubt the creepiest and most weird of all the videotapes. The tape has two versions, the first of which is non-interactive. Take a look at some of the bizarre and freaky moments found within this tape. As you can see, this episode is a jumbled mess of trippy visuals and horror. We see both Wooly and Amanda stretched out, disembodied, and seemingly possessed at all times. This signified by their eyes turning black. We catch glimpses of this elsewhere during other episodes, often before the entity emerges. This provides further evidence for the theory that Hamlin Entertainment used children like Rebecca Colton to summon and then link to demonic creatures, trapping both inside the tapes, perhaps for their research purposes. Again, more on this later. We also witness Wooly swarming Amanda. There are many Wooly clones and even a giant version of him who rises up, terrifying the poor little girl. So Wooly very obviously is another child, one who also has a demon tied to him. A demon who is likely even more powerful than Amanda's, hence why we saw her demon scampering away in terror like a wounded dog so suddenly after hearing that mysterious roar. While the child trapped inside the Wooly avatar seems to want to help Amanda and by extension Rebecca Colton, the demonic entity tied to him does not, and in fact seems to actually terrorize the poor girl. This may explain why Amanda has such a resentment for Wooly, despite his upbeat persona and attempts to help cheer her up. There are also references to Hamlin Entertainment. The first is this soundbite, which seems to be from a commercial of some kind. The garbled soundbite plays to the image of Wooly, Amanda and the possum all sinking into the floor, suggesting that all three of them were once children who then became part of Hamlin's demonic experiments and ended up trapped inside these cartoon avatars on the haunted tapes. Next up is this creepy segment where we see the butcher or meatman from the original Amanda the Adventurer. He speaks the following lines.
Close your eyes. Count down from 10. You may feel this pinch.
This is very interesting, as we know the Butcher is someone both Wooly and Amanda fear.
No! Why are you being so mean to me?
My best guess is that this is one of Hamlin's employees, one involved in the procedure that transferred the consciousness or soul of Rebecca Colton into Amanda and bound her to the demon. Perhaps the fact we hear this Butcher mention a sharp pinch and count down from 10 is because Rebecca was put to sleep using some kind of general anesthetic administered by a needle. Could this be the surgeon who worked on her transformation from Rebecca to Amanda? We do, after all, see frequent clips of surgery lights and a portal-like door throughout this and other tapes. Either way, this brief clip gives us new insight into this sinister figure. After the tape ejects, we notice that the frog from the terrarium in Kate's office is now spread out on the table with a scalpel placed beside it, just like in science class. However, unlike science class, this poor froggy is still alive. The tape then resets and begins playing once more. Amanda and Wooly still distort and glitch throughout the mangled recording, however at least this time we can hear their conversation.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Wooly.
Wooly, what do you have there?
Oh, just some broken stuff I just today.
Wooly, if something is broken, we can fix it.
The theme for this tape is fixing things. Amanda is sorting through her old belongings, items that Wooly deems broken and so has thrown away in the trash. Wooly tries to reason with Amanda, explaining that these old playthings cannot be repaired, but Amanda pleads with the player to help fix them. This leads us back to that poor froggy, who we must cut with a scalpel to remove key items from its insides. The wheel of a rollerblade and the battery to fix up Blabbot, for example. Each time we fix an item by passing the spare part through the TV screen to Amanda, she becomes more and more elated. While Wooly also gradually begins to come round to the concept and cheers us on. The possum also shows back up and this time is far more vicious, ripping out one of Wooly's eyeballs, which we are then tasked with fixing. Although at least this does make Amanda laugh.
Wooly, you're so silly.
Very funny, Amanda.
Eventually, Amanda realizes that although her old playthings have now been repaired, the one thing that still remains broken is her heart, something even she knows cannot be repaired by Riley. We do try though, removing the still beating heart of the frog and passing it through the screen to Amanda, but alas, to no avail.
Riley, something's outside the library with me. I keep catching glimpses, but I don't know what it is. I don't think we're safe here anymore. Hold tight. I'm making my way back around the building. Did that thing do this? I'm really glad you're okay. Let's gather the tapes, quickly. I'll go grab what I can from the library, and then we've really got to get out of here.
The masked woman seems shaken and explains that they need to finish up quickly and get out of the library with the tapes as soon as possible. In the meantime, Riley plays the 10th tape, which is a bandaged up version of tape 9. However, the title has changed to Do You Feel Safe? Riley plays the tape and is greeted by Amanda and Wooly, who stand on the high street of their local neighborhood.
My favorite thing is how safe and cozy my neighborhood feels.
Does it, Wooly?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time.
Throughout this tape, you will notice moments where the screen switches to bursts of bright static. While these moments occur, if we take the microfilm slide and place it upon the television screen, then it begins to burn. Doing this 4 times during key intervals and then returning to the projector reveals a layout of the library replete with various markers. Each of these markers relates to the location of one of 3 keys, as well as showing off the puzzle solution tied to them. These keys once obtained can unlock Kate's desk and lead us to the game's endings. But before unlocking this desk and checking out these endings, let's finish watching up the final tape. Amanda begins to talk about how when people are afraid they can make mistakes, and then continues to warn viewers about who they decide to trust. She finishes by asking the player who we trust. Check out some of these possible outcomes based on how we choose to answer her.
Yeah, he was so trusting too. And that can be a mistake. I trusted her too. I wish I could still talk to her. Go away!
In reference to Sam Colton, Amanda directly mentions how he was very trusting and that was a mistake. This is one of the few times she proves she has a deep knowledge and understanding of Rebecca's father, and therefore further evidence that Amanda is indeed Rebecca. Amanda also admits to wishing she was still able to talk to Kate, which again firms up that connection as Kate worked at the library and was friends with Sam and Rebecca. After this, Amanda seems defeated and explains she doesn't feel like she can trust anyone. She wanders into a nearby alleyway with Wooly hesitantly following behind, urging her to come back. Amanda explains that facing your fears can be good as it teaches you a lot about yourself. She asks the player what they fear most. Answering Hamlin garners this reply.
Don't bring them up. Some people think strangers are really scary. But I don't feel that way.
Using the 3 keys unlocked by following the cryptic clues on that sheet of microfilm, we can unlock Kate's desk. Doing so reveals a secret compartment with a tape player and a button inside. In order to unlock the true ending, we must locate the secret tape and play that before hitting this button. However, for now, let's just press the button and witness the game's regular ending.
Let's do what we came to do and get out of here. Run.
Now, as you can see, this ending is brief. However, it does give us a few lore tidbits to analyze. The biggest of these comes from when taking a look at the strange ethereal aura that rises from the VHS tape after the masked woman smashes it. This seems to be the remnants of a human spirit, or at least part of one. Could this be the consciousness of Rebecca Colton, or perhaps another child trapped within the tapes by Hamlin Entertainment? By destroying these tapes, can we finally free their souls and break the cycle of torment they have endured all of these years? It seems as though the demonic guardians of these tapes are none too pleased about losing their human hosts. After all, if they lose the host, then surely they would lose their bond to the human realm and be sent back to the demon realm they were summoned from by Hamlin. Amanda's demon attacks the masked figure and seemingly kills her. Riley manages to escape through a secret room hidden behind Kate's bookshelf. A vault-like chamber is found in this room, leading down to a new area below the foundations of the library. Why was this built, and by who? Surely we must assume Kate was somehow involved and that this was perhaps an escape route for her to take in emergencies just like this one. Maybe it even leads to a secret research area, where the final Amanda tapes and top secret documents detailing Hamlin's nefarious schemes are hidden for safekeeping. Either way, this seems to be the location where a potential third entry in the Amanda series will take place. And so we have reached the final stretch of this very long Story Explained video. The last 2 pieces of the puzzle are tied to a selection of secret tapes and a different ending born from watching them. I will briefly analyse each of these secret tapes, but if you do wish to see each one in full, as well as the solutions to unlock them, then please check out this video on screen now. I'll leave a link at the end of this one. The first tape is a recording filmed in the Kensdale Public Library during a children's story time, with none other than Amanda the Adventurer creator, Sam Carlton. He reads a storybook to a group of children before speaking with Kate Park, aka Aunt Kate, who thanks him for his time.
Hey, you all may know a friend of Mr. Colton's. You can watch her on her very own hometown hit show on Kensdale's public access channel. Do you know what show that is? Amanda the Adventurer! That's right, my friends.
After Kate finishes speaking with Sam, the children, and their parents, a businessman approaches Sam and introduces himself as a company rep. This is almost certainly the point where Sam was approached by Hamlin Entertainment about obtaining the rights to his show and expanding it into a global brand. But take a look at this mysterious man's appearance. He has a bald head. So could this be the sinister butcher figure from the tapes who also shares this appearance? Is this the Hamlin employee who orchestrated the disappearance of Sam and the company's adoption of Rebecca, which then led to her being used to summon a demon and eventually linked to it, trapped as Amanda on the VHS tapes? In my opinion, this is a theory worth considering based on all the evidence at hand. Tape 2 is pretty unsettling. Here we discover that Sam Carlton has been trapped by Hamlin and imprisoned against his will. This is why to the general public it seemed as though he had disappeared. Hamlin was keeping him as their prisoner, with no way to contact the outside world. Hamlin tells Sam that he is forbidden to see his daughter Rebecca until he agrees to record a message telling her she can trust them.
I'm not gonna tell her she can trust you. You've got me locked up in here and you want me to act like everything is okay? This is kidnapping, it's coercion.
Just say what's on the paper, Mr. Hall.
This is kidnapping, it's coercion,
If you wish, one of my associates will gladly provide you with a copy of your signed contract. You agreed to this.
I did not agree to lie to my daughter.
While Sam refuses to do so at this point in time, we can conclude that he eventually caved and agreed to their request, which then led Rebecca to trust Hamlin as her father told her she should, which led to the demonic summonings and her imprisonment within this cartoon world. It also now makes sense why Amanda references trust and how she refers to Sam as being too trusting in this clip.
Yeah, he was so trusting too. And that can be a mistake.
The third recording shows footage of a child. This seems to be Rebecca hooked up to a life support machine in a hospital ward. A strange toxic substance is being administered, and it seems the person recording this footage is doing so in secret. Perhaps a mole within the Hamlin company trying to expose their dark experiments to the world. This is almost certainly how Rebecca lives on outside of the videotapes. Still kept alive on the outside, her soul then tethered to Amanda inside the analog horror realm. Hence why she says this line in the original game.
I'm out there. Somewhere.
The fourth and final secret tape is a conversation between Aunt Kate and several other people who seem to be fellow freedom fighters looking for a way to bring down Hamlin Entertainment and expose their unethical practices. These may be the people who received the secret recordings like the ones we just watched featuring Sam and Rebecca. The recordings on this tape take place over many years and show the group's investigation progressing over time. Kate explains that she spotted demonic sigils in various episodes of the tapes and that these hidden images are usually accompanied by harmful messages, encouraging kids to ignore their parents or do something bad. They mention a local child who went missing while watching Amanda the Adventurer.
And you know this kid was also watching the show at the time of his disappearance.
Totally engrossed, his parents said, and then just gone.
No police evidence? Not even footprints trailing off?
No, nothing. Like he just vanished. That was over 8 months ago.
And now this other kid, Lauren, same story.
David explains how there are references to demonic entities that are known to try and tempt and trick, such as Belial, Mara, and Iblis, found throughout the tapes. Entities we heard Rebecca being made to summon in the original Amanda game.
Rebecca, that was great. Let's move on to the next one.
Pie man, buy lamb, pie.
What is this? What is she reading? Just a few simple words. This script is specifically tuned to train the technology's dynamic voice reaction. The what? I want this to stop.
They then bring a new member into the meeting, a man named Peter. He explains that information they have on this group known as Hamlin Entertainment ties them back to a religious cult that has been around since the Middle Ages. So Hamlin are using their production company as a front for a much more sinister purpose: to summon demonic entities they have worshipped for centuries and then trap them to potentially harness their power. The tape ends with an argument between Kate, Peter and Caroline. Both Kate and Caroline are certain that Hamlin are holding Rebecca hostage and using her as part of their experiments. But Peter argues the information they have isn't conclusive enough to act upon.
But she's in there, Peter. I know she is.
Whatever information Kate is getting is fragmented at best, and that's if it is actually Rebecca.
It has to be.
No, Caroline, we don't know. We have to hit the pause button on this. We can't do anything that would give away what we're doing.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Are you in charge here? So what's the plan then, Peter? We just keep meeting and talking? What's our goal exactly?
Look, I want to try too, Caroline, but we have to proceed with caution.
We don't even know what state she's in, or if we could even get to her. It's been almost 15 years. She might not even want out at this point.
You don't know that.
You don't either.
This is where we get confirmation that Rebecca has been missing for 15 years and likely trapped as Amanda within the tapes for this duration. It seems Kate has made contact with Rebecca through the tapes just like Riley did. And this does make sense as Amanda has commented on missing Kate before. It is also hinted that Hamlin has killed David, and this caused the other investigators to feel cautious about continuing with their investigation.
I mean, are we going to talk about David, or are we just going to pretend he's
not waiting around? If they're coming for me, they're coming for me. She's made contact with Kate.
Obviously, in the case of Aunt Kate, it seems Hamlin did indeed silence her, stopping her from investigating them further. A mission she now passes on to poor Riley. With the secret tapes investigated, it's time to turn our attention to the true ending of Amanda the Adventurer 2. This can be unlocked if we refuse to help Amanda against the possum during each tape, give the correct answers to her during tape 10, and unlock each of the secret tapes we just went over. Complete these objectives and then rewatch tape 10 to get this extended cut, where the possum finally receives its comeuppance.
You know, you were a stranger when I met you.
To be safe, you should never talk to strangers.
And I trusted you. I think I still do.
Riley, I'm almost at the front door. I think that thing is following me.
Oh, not him again! What are you even doing here?
Nobody wants you here.
I just got in. We need to get moving.
Can you even hear us? What is with this guy?
Why have you been letting this stranger mess with us this whole time? Can we please get rid of him? Come on! Where is he going?
Why wouldn't you help us? I trusted you.
And what did I just say about strangers?
Let's get rid of this guy already.
We'll get back to that possum and its relevance to the story shortly, but as you can see, both Amanda and Wooly finally work together to defeat this pesky rodent, and then, frustrated with the player's lack of assistance, explain they no longer wish to play and storm off together. We then receive a cassette tape which appears at the entrance to the kids' corner. Collecting up this tape and taking it over to the tape player at Kate's desk reveals a secret audio log from none other than Aunt Kate herself. This is the final message Kate recorded before she died in what sounds to be a car accident, and is addressed directly to Riley. The car accident may well have been orchestrated by Hamlin Entertainment themselves as a cover-up to halt Kate's investigation. Take a listen.
Oh, Riley, please. Oh God, I'm praying you hear this. Someone can get this to you. You can stay safe so I can protect you. Hey, please, just don't watch the tapes. Destroy them. Everyone who's tried to figure it out, they're all dead. Joanne is dead. She just... It was so stupid and arrogant to think we could beat them. She wasn't ever ours to lose. She was already gone. I can't let you get lost too. Please.
Kate regrets writing the letter to Riley and involving them in this madness. She also references a woman called Joanne, who she believes to be dead, but we soon discover that is not the case at all. Check out the true ending.
I am so sorry. Kate died because of me. My brother was one of the kids who disappeared. All I wanted was to find him. And someone came to me. They told me he was trapped and that the only way to free him was to smash the tapes. And I believed them. I brought you here to destroy these. I thought I was doing the right thing. The night she died, I went to your aunt's house. She'd been working so hard to find the truth, but all I wanted was to get Jordan back. I screamed at Kate to give me the tapes, and then that creature. It was horrible. I pushed Kate out of there, begged her to run. I didn't want her to get hurt because of me, but then she... I think it was protecting the tapes. We didn't know. Kate didn't know. And now I've led those psychos right to her house. They're the ones who burned it down. It was to destroy those tapes. I know it. I saw the letter she wrote to you. I know she trusted you to pick up where she left off. And I took advantage of that trust to bring you here, to find the tapes. I don't know if you can ever forgive me. But I do know that Hamlin needs to be brought down. I won't be their pawn anymore. I will do whatever I can to... Riley, take these and get out of here. Go! I'll be right behind you. I promise.
So briefly to recap that ending, we discover Joanne is the masked woman and is indeed still alive, or at least was. She became involved in Kate's investigation of Hamlin Entertainment after her little brother Jordan went missing while watching the Amanda cartoon show. Remember back to that possum? This is a new character who showed up in the tapes since the arrival of Joanne, and during its final struggle with Amanda and Wooly, we can hear the possum trying to speak. It forces out the words Joe and Ja. So to me, it seems that this possum represents the last victim of Hamlin, the brother of Joanne, Jordan. a third lost soul now trapped with Wooly and Amanda on these tapes. Joanne sent Kate's letter to Riley and involved them, and now urges them to take the tapes and get out of here. Just as she does so, the second demon shows up. This time it appears to be the demon tied to Wooly, a more powerful entity that even Amanda's demon is afraid of. The demon rips Joanne apart as Riley grabs one of the tapes and escapes down the hatch. Over the end credits, we hear Joanne's screams begin to distort. Based on this distortion, my theory is that if these entities kill a human outside of the tapes, then their soul is claimed and becomes yet another prisoner within the videotape realm. But with that, we come to the end of this video taking a look at the story of Amanda the Adventurer 2 Explained. This was a huge video and took me a long time to put together, so I do hope you enjoyed it and found it both entertaining and informative. If you did, remember to leave a like, comments down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.